Today's job, we're going to remove the sway bar end links, the sway bar, and the sway bar bushings. However, I'm only replacing the sway bar end links. I'm actually removing the entire sway bar for a strut job on this truck, which I'll do in another video. The tools required for this one are going to be a 3/8 inch ratchet. It's what I used, a 15mm open end wrench and or 15mm socket. Various extensions as needed. As you see comfortable, you're going to need a 13mm, a 10mm, and as mentioned, a 15mm. I don't have it in front of me right now. It's a pretty straightforward job. You're going to have to get some twist and maybe a little bit of muscle. This doesn't include the tools that are required to lift the vehicle: jack stand, lug nut, wrench, etc. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get started. As for the end links that I went with, sway bar end links, this is what I went with. This is GM stock. Good. It's always good to get original. That's my opinion. So that's what I went with. Got these from Rock Auto. It came in this unnecessarily large package for one sway bar, but that's all right. Got two of them. Yeah, and that's the only part that I'm gonna actually replace today. Okay, as you can tell, I have my car lifted and the wheel off. Sway bar end link is this right here. That bolt. Then this, actually the access is gonna be underneath this hole. So you'll need both the ratchets to get it off. I'm also working on another job, so you don't need to worry about removing the brake assembly like I did. And definitely make sure you have your vehicle supported with jack stands in a proper place so it doesn't fall on you. I have jack as the backup, the jack stand is the primary support, and I even put the tire under the truck. You just don't want this thing to fall on you. If you got good quality jack stands, it shouldn't be a problem. So to get the end link off, I'm going to use the 15mm deep well at the top, 13mm with the extension. And it goes right down in here. Now the strategy that I use is, since this jack is right here, I'll start turning the top one and the bottom one will just rest against the jack. You may have to support it with your other hand, but as you do, see if I can do it with my foot. As you do, they both turn, as you can see, and it'll come loose. That's all there is to it. When mine came off, the nut kind of flew off because there's tension on the sway bar. Probably because of the way I had the vehicle lifted, I'm not sure. And then you can just pull from the bottom here, or you can push at the top shaft itself, but then you pull from the bottom here, and the whole thing just comes right out. And to remove the boot and support, it's a 10mm. This thing's on there tight. I had to use my longer ratchet and even a breaker bar extender to get it off. But all you gotta do is remove these bolts and your boot will come down. Here I am on the other side. Now you can see I've left the wheel on this side. You see how much less space you have in here to get it done. So it is possible, but you'll probably spend more time trying to get wrenches in, especially if you need a breaker to get into these tight spots with the wheel. So the strategy on this side is the same as the passenger side, same tools. Obviously you have to remove both sides to get the whole sway bar down if that's what you're doing. So possible, but I recommend at this point, you're doing the job, may as well lift the truck. Let's get the wheel off. For removing the sway bar itself, if you're gonna remove the whole sway bar or replace it, you remove this, this, and then this, and this. These 4 15mm bolts. Just get your ratchet, pull them off, and then once your end links and the boots are completely disconnected, the sway bar will fall out. So I got the cover off. It's for 15mm. It's pretty straightforward. They come right off. And then to get to these, continued with my 10 millimeter, and it was a slog. Took a long time. A lot of hard turns, but it finally came off. Realize if you're underneath this, once these 4 bolts are out, this bar is pretty heavy, so you want to keep it supported as you pull it out. So get them to where they're hand tight. And then pull them out as you hold the bar up so it doesn't fall on you. I'm not replacing my sway bar, but as you can tell, I cleaned it up a little bit. Just wiped a towel over it. I've retightened the bolts here. I recommend you keep them a little bit loose so you have a little bit of play as you're trying to get the end links back in. So before I tighten them down, let's work on the end links. There's the old one versus the new one. They're basically identical. The old one must be an original GM. I'll tell you what, it's rusty enough, it could be original. New one looks pretty good. Go ahead and get it installed. What I do is I just take it, I took the sleeve off the outside. I'm gonna feed this in like that. The sleeve on. And that'll hold it in. Now as that holds it in, I can take the top, press this down a bit. Alright, sorry about that. I got under with the jack and lifted the control arm up a little bit. That way I had more room here. So you can press it in. And then once it's in, you put the top one on and you get it started. Alright, now for tightening this, I put my 15 millimeter open end. It's a little bit easier than the socket I used earlier. When it rests up against the arm like that, I'm able to wrench it from the bottom and it holds it in place and we'll get it torqued down. Okay, and this is the side with the wheel still on it. I didn't tighten the other one all the way. I didn't torque it down yet. But what you have to do to get the other one on is you need to lift and support the vehicle from the frame so that the suspension hangs low enough so that you can put the arm, the link up through the holes, kind of the same way as you did before, and then put the nut on top to screw it on. Okay, as you can tell, I tightened all 4 of the bushing bolts 10 millimeters down. Put the shroud back on, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 millimeter bolts. Those are back on. As I mentioned, these were snugged, not tightened. So I'm gonna get the torque wrench, tighten these down to 22. The recommendation is that you torque these with the weight of the vehicle on it. So you can either support the vehicle on jack stands from the A-arms, the control arms, put it on ramps, or just put the vehicle on the ground if you can squeeze underneath and tighten it from there. It's the same thing, just gonna use the torque wrench on the top. You're gonna use the 13 millimeter on the bottom, tighten it up until the torque wrench clicks. That's all there is to it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, let me know what I did wrong, what I did right, if there's anything you'd have changed. Thanks for watching.